Great, and well, I'm delighted to be here. My name is Barry Maguire. I'm a Navan man, and as someone said to me, I never really left home till I left Ireland, because Dalgan Park is just 5 miles down the road from where I grew up. And indeed, my first memory of Dalgan Park was I was a member of Navan rugby team. And we're going back in time now. Ireland weren't winning much back in the day I was playing rugby, and when our pitch was flooded, I always remember this. The pitch in Navan was flooded. We go out to Dalgan Park for a game. That was my first introduction to Dalgan Park. But I joined in '84 as a young cousin and ordained in '93. I spent 2 years in Pakistan in that period, and since then I've been here in Korea. It's over 18 years now since I came to Korea, and a lot has changed. And there's a symbol of change very clear to me these days, because every morning at 7 AM there's a crash bang wallop outside my window. There's a building going up, 15-story building right outside our gate. Can't say I'm thrilled about it, because it interrupts my beauty sleep, which I badly need. But it's certainly a sign of the society. I'm a part of a dynamic, developing, fast-growing society, and I suppose I certainly would say I like Korea from that point of view. It's a very interesting place to be culturally, and just dynamically, the way the people move on here and move on. Certainly, it can be a little disconcerting. Certainly, a sense of a lack of permanence. I often wondered, is it maybe the Buddhist influence, that emphasis on a lack of permanence in things. But so anyways, when I heard this building was going up right in front of us, I went across the road to a building, a taller building across the road, and grabbed a couple of photos of this house that I'm in right now. It's the Columban house here in Seoul, and it has its own little story in that we have an older section which goes back, our older men remember it, when they first came here as a different setup, and then we built on this new building. And the reason for that, which contains the office, both my office and my bedroom here, because I'm an editor of our magazine here, and the reason we built that was that our mission here as parish founders and workers has pretty much come to a close, and so we've had to face a fundamental question: why are we staying on? Why do we want to remain here in Korea? And so we have built this place, and it's got a mission centre. We have programs of education, preparing Korean lay people, sisters, priests, brothers for going abroad. We have Bible study programs. We have even myself. I teach a little English class, and the emphasis now is very much on ourselves as, I suppose, mission education, very much modelled on the adult education role, where we're all together as a group, moving forward and learning and developing our sense of God in the world. What is God saying to us, and where's the greatest need? Where is God pointing us to? Because God, I find, generally points us towards where the greatest need is, and that's, I suppose, as an editor of a magazine, that's what interests me. I find what's happened is, and it's a good thing as far as I'm concerned, is that because we've moved out of a structure where we were very much part of building up the church, we found ourselves on the periphery, the Columbans now, of what's happening in the Korean church here and all that, and that's fine with us. We very much agreed on that, because we find that's where the powerless tend to be, and those who have little say in what's going on in society in their lives. And that's where I find the message of Jesus is most apt, and Beatitudes and all the parables that Jesus taught us, very relevant to the people on the periphery. And so that it frees us up, I find. It frees us up to ask questions that if we had other concerns we wouldn't be asking. And so one of them is, where's the greatest need? What is God saying to us? And so certainly issues of, big issues like environmental issues certainly take up a big part of what we say about that God certainly wants the beauty of this world kept intact and shared among those who are kept out from the riches that Mother Nature supplies to us. So in that way, I would certainly, as an editor of the magazine, would focus on these things. Where are the Columbans working on these issues? We have a Columban sister working on with the AIDS people. People who have contracted the HIV, and then a sister and a priest who work separately and working with those of various disabilities, and so stuff like that, that they're going to where people would generally might be shunned by society, and then we find that they have their own stories to tell, and I like that in the magazine, to have these stories. And certainly with my experience of Pakistan for 2 years, I found that the Columban, as we say in Korean, we like to use Korean words in our conversation here, the Columban Sengak, the Columban way of thinking, very similar in Pakistan. The Christians are only 2% of the population. They're very discriminated people in the land of Pakistan. Lovely people, Pakistani people, very hospitable. I found Islam gets a bad press that way, but I certainly found it a very hospitable country to be in. But given that, even that, these Christians were very discriminated against, the Columbans found ourselves naturally in a position of siding with them, tribal people, with women's education. I found that fascinating. Both Korea and Pakistan, one of the biggest things we can do for when we're working with people is promote education. It really makes such a difference to society. I see it in Pakistan, I see it in Korea. The promotion of education of adults, young people and adults, and I find that the Koreans respond to that very much so. Education is what really, the resources they put into it really changed this society, and as one of the fundamental forces that has lifted up. They have very little natural resources here, so it's their drive, energy and their commitment to education has developed this society. And that's where we see that now. Education in terms of reflection of the Bible story, what it means for us now, what is God saying to us now, and what are the challenges of today, and what do we say to people who disagree with us. That's another very important one. Getting along in this society, very important, is getting along with people who disagree with you, but still making your point. And I think that's an ongoing process for us Columbans, and it involves reflection. We have to pray about it, we have to study it, and we have to express ourselves in the way we feel is right for us, as God is instructing us to do so. We fail a lot, of course, we trip ourselves up, but that doesn't stop us believing that we're on the right path. So that's actually pretty much my focus as an editor of the magazine. I try to promote the message as an uplifting, the message for mission of Columban Mission is an uplifting one. We're together in it, we're lifting ourselves up, we're trying to educate ourselves to be better people, to be more knowledgeable people, and to be believers, happy to know Jesus and to be with our neighbour. And so that's it. It's simple in its own way, but it gives me focus.